Happy midday to all who are joining us. Hello, Louise and Christy. I'm glad you're here. We'll get started in just about a minute. If you might want to have a strap handy or scarf or belt or something. It's not required, but it might make your practice a bit more supported. So if you want to grab that before we get started, you certainly have time to do that. Hello and welcome, Ronald. Maybe you go by Ron, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm glad to see everybody here. It's so great to be back. Took some time away in the mountains of Colorado, and very soothing for the soul. And I'm very happy to be back and getting back to yoga again and practicing with all of you. Hi, Sandy. Welcome. So you might hear some background noise, and they're working on our street. So you might hear that beep, 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 or a cement truck, or you never know. But that's one of the things we practice in yoga, is to not be distracted and to keep our focus regardless of what is happening around us. So, there we go. We practice yoga not just on our mat, but throughout our days in so many different ways. So it's a great practice that we can take off the mat as well. Okay, Ron, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate knowing that. And I think it's 12:01. We'll go ahead and get started. I'll flip this camera around, and here we go. Now you may begin seated on your mat, or you may begin seated on a chair. It's up to you. It has more to do with how much you want to get up and down from the floor. And so I will, as always, I'll give you options for what we do, both in the chair and standing, so that you can choose what's best for your body today. Go ahead and set my strap over here. And let's begin with our centering time. So sitting up nice and tall, sit bones or feet rooted in the earth, long spine. Perhaps tilt your chin downward just a bit to create some space between those vertebrae in the back of your neck. It's a nice thing to do. And I invite you to close your eyes or lower or soften your gaze. And here we are. So we always begin just noticing our breath. Not changing it, just noticing it. Noticing the inhales, the exhales, any pause between those. Maybe place your hand on your heart to feel your heartbeat. An amazing heart that keeps beating. Take a moment to do a body scan, beginning with your toes and working your way all the way up to the crown, to just notice your body and how it's feeling and what you're feeling where. Starting with your toes, your feet, your ankles, shins, knees, thighs, your torso, your shoulders, your arms, fingers, your neck, your head. That holds your amazing brain. And if there's any part of your body that is feeling discomfort, take a nice long inhale and imagine sending that healing breath there. Pause for a moment. And on the exhale, perhaps releasing that discomfort. And if you didn't notice any discomfort anywhere in the body, just send the breath everywhere. Our mantra today is, with my roots firmly supporting me, I sway with the wind. Go ahead and gently and slowly open your eyes. And let's begin by inhaling, taking our arms to sky, exhaling towards the earth. 2 more times. Nice and slow. Nice deep breath in and exhale slowly all the air. Lovely. We'll begin by practicing the Durga breath. And so we will begin by, on the inhale, by expanding our belly. So breathing in, expand that belly, and exhale. Bring the belly in as you press the air out. Next, maybe place your hands on your rib cage or your sides. And that's what we will expand with our breath. Inhale. And imagine expanding that rib cage side to side and front to back. And exhale. And finally, the area around your collarbone. Just breathe into that area. Feel your chest rise. And exhale. Now the Durga breath is the 3-part breath. So now we'll take in a breath combining all of those. So as we inhale, we'll expand our belly, our rib cage, and lift our chest. And then as we exhale, we'll bring the belly in as we press the air out. Okay? Go ahead and take a nice long inhale. Expanding the belly, the rib cage, the chest. And exhale. Bring the belly in and press the air out. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. Expanding belly, ribs, and chest. And exhale. Bringing the belly in to help that air release. And if you'd like, you can put your hand on your belly and maybe one around your rib cage to experience that. Let's do it 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. This is a beautiful breath practice that you can practice anytime, anywhere. In an office, in your car, sitting on your couch, standing in line. It's just a beautiful way to bring so much fresh air into your lungs, and it's a very calming practice as well. So I hope you'll practice it a few times this week and see how you feel afterwards. Let's go ahead and warm up our body. So we'll extend both legs and we'll warm up our fingers and our toes. So we'll bring them all in, curl our toes and fingers, and expand. and spread them apart. Curl in. We're used to doing that with our fingers. It's a little bit more of a challenge with the toes. It takes practice. It's a good thing to do. They need to move in a lot of different ways too. Especially now as we head into the time of year when you're wearing shoes more. We'll just do that one more time. And now do some pointing and flexing with the feet. So with the hand, when we're pointing, we'll press our wrist down and point with our feet. So we'll start that. So just extending that foot out and feeling the stretch across the top of the foot. And then the other direction, we'll bring our fingers back towards our shoulders and our toes up off the ground as we bring them toward our shins. Okay? So go ahead and work, press out and flex back. We'll do it one more time. This always feels so good on the tops of the feet because that, again, that's an area that doesn't often get attention. Now let's just do some wrists and ankle circles. The challenge here is to do it slowly, looking for range of motion. And then pause and go back the other direction. It doesn't matter if they're all going the same direction at the time. Just go both directions. That's just too much thinking. Okay, go ahead and relax and kind of shake them out. Okay. Next, I would invite you to your strap, if you have one handy. If you don't, you can do this without a strap. You can support your leg with your hands, keeping in mind that you want to keep a nice, tall, straight back as we do some movements. Or if it's, it can feel very stable to hang onto your chair. That can sometimes help you keep the back straight as you move the knees and the hips. Or you can use a strap. So to warm up the first knee, you can bring a strap underneath my thigh, elbows into my sides, and just extend the leg. And I'm going to bend that knee in as far as I can. My foot is barely off the floor. In fact, you could simply slide the foot back and forth on the floor. It's not about height. It's about warming up the knee joint. So as long as you're warming up the knee joint and keeping a nice tall spine, you're good. Now rest the foot on the ground, and we'll take that more to the hip joint. So sometimes you might want to sit a little more to the front on your chair. And you can do this, of course, sitting on the floor as well, both of these. You could even be laying on your back and using the strap or sitting up on your mat. But now we're just going to move that hip joint. Move that bone around in that socket. My foot is touching the floor some of the time. It's okay. And then go the other direction. Just warming up the hip joint. And relax down. And now we'll go ahead and do the other side. So again, if you're on your mat, you could be laying on your back or leaning back or sitting back against a wall to do this same warm up. So we'll go ahead and warm up the other knee slowly. We want to be gentle and mindful of our range of motion and also noticing if there is any pinching. And if there is, we don't go that far. Some days, this knee might not come back this far, and I would not force it. Just be gentle. Relax that foot down, and we'll go ahead and rotate this hip. Just scoot over a little bit so I have a little more room to move my hip joint. So I'm going to go ahead and do some hip circles here. Being mindful of sitting straight and tall. and then go the other direction. You can do this laying on your back as well. Go ahead and rest your foot down. All right, beautiful. So set the strap aside for now. Don't think we'll be needing that again, but we'll keep it handy just in case. So for cat and cow, and you can practice this on the mat, just sitting in a cross-legged position, or you can practice it in a chair. So bring the heels of your hands to those hip creases. Press into your thighs, and as you press in there, feel your back elongate and your heart lift as you inhale. And then exhale, take the hands out to the knees. And you can round the back a little, or if you have some issues with your spine, you can simply lean back as you exhale. And inhale, bring the heels of the hands back to the hip creases. And I'm not popping the neck back, I'm simply looking at the seam between the wall and the ceiling. And exhale. So this is what just leaning back would look like. Breathe in. And you can do these at your own pace, as long as it's a slow pace. Nice long breaths in, nice long exhales. Taking time to notice what we're feeling in our body and where. And then we'll come back to a seated position. And we'll bring our arms to palms together in front of the heart. And as we move our arms one direction, we'll turn and face the opposite direction. So inhale, slowly. And exhale, back to center. Other side, inhale. And exhale. Let's do another set. Or do I really feel like going this direction? It's interesting how different sides of our body have different things going on. And back to center. Beautiful. All right. Next, let's go ahead and we're going to do something kind of called a pancake clap. So you reach one arm out to the side, one arm out, the other arm out in front, and you're going to reach the front arm over here. This one isn't going to move. You're going to reach over, and you probably just clap your arm and come back. Bring this one in, and clap. Bring this one all the way back, come across and clap. So reaching across the body is very important. Good for our brain. We spend so much time just in the center front, and this is a good movement for our body and our brain. All right, let's go ahead and bring our arms down to sides, and even go ahead and just reach out and lift the heart a little bit, and then come back to center. Take a look out over one shoulder. And then look down towards your collarbone. Then we'll just very slowly bring our chin, draw a smile with our chin across our chest. Continuing and look down at the other collarbone. Bring your gaze front and back to center. Now we'll do that from the other direction. So now we'll look out over the opposite shoulder. Look down toward our collarbone and draw a smile across the chest. Going the other direction. Gaze forward and up. And just go ahead and do some nice shoulder rolls, slowly. You know, it's hard sometimes to go more slowly, but it's much better for our body. All right, and then sometimes I just like to do some kind of swinging and just to loosen everything up a bit. Let's go ahead and if you practice Tadasana in a chair, great. If you practice it standing, please make your way to a standing position. The really cool thing about cues for Tadasana, whether you're in a chair or standing, is they're the same. So you choose what is going to be right for you. If you're sitting in a chair, I invite you to sit toward the front of the chair, not leaning back, to keep a 90-degree angle in your hips, in your knees, and in your ankles as you build your foundation. And your 2 fists, that's about hip width apart. Okay. If you're standing, chair over here. For Tadasana, again, bring your feet about hip width apart, and you can still measure with your fists like that if you want to. Okay. Now, let's check it out. Let's lift our toes. And let's root down through the mound under the big toe, the little toe, and the heel. And as you do that, feel the muscles of your legs engage. Now you can relax the toes down, but keep that engagement. Okay. And then you'll bring in your core. It's kind of the feeling like when you cough, that's what you're doing. Okay. Now the shoulders are relaxed. Down and back. It's nice and relaxed. Arms relaxed out at sides, palms facing forward. Make sure you have a micro bend in your knee. Okay. Now again, that chin can just be lowered a titch to find that expansion between the vertebra and the back of your neck. Now find your drishti, or your gaze. This is a very active and a strong posture, Tadasana, or mountain. Strong, stable, serene, and still. Let's just take a couple of breaths here. This is something you can practice wherever you're sitting, wherever you're standing. We'll be continuing to warm up the muscles and joints of our body with some sun salutations that are somewhat slow motion. I like to use a chair for sun salutations. So I have my chair right here in handy. Maybe you choose to use blocks, a block under each side, or maybe your body does best not using props. So it's something that we need to experiment with to find out what feels best in our body, because that's what we really need to honor and explore as we practice yoga. So for our first sun salutation, we'll begin in mountain posture. And we'll inhale and take our arms to sky. And as we exhale, we'll just come to a half fold, so just this far. If you'd like to support that with your hands on the chair, you can, or you can have your hands here. Then we inhale, arms to sky again. And exhale, hands to heart. Let's do that again, and this time we'll add in a twist. So inhale, half fold. As you exhale, inhale, and turn to one side for a twist. A nice, gentle twist. Inhale, hands to sky. Exhale, half fold. Inhale, hands to sky. And exhale, twist to the other side. So this is a twist, we're not forcing anything. It's just a gentle one. Inhale, hands to sky. Exhale, half fold. Keeping a slight micro bend in those knees. Inhale, arms up, and hands to heart. So that's a lovely, gentle, kind of a mini sun salutation that you can do. You can do it nice and slowly and with the breath. Next, I'd like to introduce the part of the sun salutation with a lunge. And a lunge can be challenging for many people. So to come down into a standing lunge, there's a lot of things going on. So what is the purpose of a sun salutation? It's to warm up our body and prepare it to move and to practice. So it's not necessary to just, push it to the edge. So let's see what it might look like. You could use 2 blocks or you could use a chair. Let's go ahead and let's take inhale. And hands come to a half fold. Press hands into the seat and step back into a lunge. Either whatever leg you want to do first. Now I'd like you to notice something while we're here in the lunge. So your back heel is off the floor. That front knee should be above an ankle. And are you doing this? You want to remember to be conscious of keeping that spine long and keeping the neck aligned with the spine too. Sometimes we want to drop the head or we're looking up. Just keep the neck aligned with the spine. So with this additional support, we're able to take more time to experience this in a safe and more full way. All right, so inhale, I like to press back a little bit. We're stepping back into downward facing dog. So here we go. So you might have your front hands on the floor. You might have them on a chair. Pressing back. You can have your feet wide if you would like. So your ears should be inside of your arms as you're pressing back and lengthening that back. Now let's go ahead and step forward with the opposite leg and practice a lunge on the other side. The back heel is up off the floor, knees above the ankle. Spine is nice and long, including the neck. You can hold here. You might, like I said, you might have your hands on blocks. That works too. You can really feel the strength building in this posture. Let's go ahead and kind of rock back a little bit and bring that back foot forward. Inhale. Bring our arms up to sky and hands to heart. Now we'll add in the standing cobra. So inhale, hands to heart. Inhale, bring your hands back. Just rest them right here underneath that small of your back. Lift your heart. Bring the elbows back. Lift the heart. And I'm still gazing at that seam between the wall and the ceiling. Pressing into my body with my hands, lifting my heart. A lot going on here. And breathing. And we'll relax. Bring our hands to sky. Your hands to heart. So often, typically, all of those things happen very, kind of pretty quickly when you're practicing a sun salutation in class. I just wanted to slow it down for you a little bit today, and the next time we meet, we'll put it all together. We'll still move a little slower, but we'll bring it all together without so much stopping and explaining. All right, let's shake out our legs and our arms. Okay. I'm going to move my chair over here for a moment. Because next, we are moving into star. And star posture, whether you're seated or standing, you have a nice wide stance, toes pointing outward. If you're sitting on the chair, extend your legs outward. You might choose to have your heels on the floor, that would be fine, and your toes pointing upward, if that's more comfortable. Okay, so wow, these legs are engaged. Now, let's get our core involved to support our lower back. Shoulders relax down and back and arms out to side. Palms facing downward. Chin down a bit. Are your knees locked? Mine are. So a little micro bend in those knees. Okay. A lot of things are going on right now. This is such a beautiful posture, shining like a star. Now, our mantra today is that with my roots firmly planted, I can sway with the wind. So we're going to sway our star, let it tip a little. So our feet are not moving. We're just going to maybe sway to one side. Come back to center. Sway to the other side. Slowly come back to center. Maybe sway, bringing one hand out in front, the other back. Back to center. So move your torso, your arms, and your shoulders. Let them sway in a way that feels good to you today. While your feet, your roots, are firmly planted. Okay, and when you're ready, go ahead and lower your hands to your sides. We will move into Warrior Two from here. But before we do, let's heel toe our feet to center, whether you're sitting or standing, and revisit Tadasana. Always coming back to our center, to mountain, before we move on. As we practice Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2 today, in steps we'll be adding something, a different posture in, and we'll be moving between them. But the interesting thing is with this is the legs will stay the same. So for Warrior 2, if you're practicing in a chair, one leg will go out to the side, the other leg can be here, or you can extend it out. Either way, whatever feels best in your body. And then your legs will, that is your foundation, and that is where your legs will stay. And then you can follow the same cues as with the arms as if you were standing. So for Warrior 2 standing, I'm going to step one foot forward and one foot back. I want to find a place where I feel stable and rooted. Front knee is bent, but the knee is not really, the knee is nice and above the ankle. If you feel a little wobbly, maybe you want to have something close by, a wall or a chair to touch, just to have that bit of a balance support. And our hips are facing here. So this is our foundation for Warrior 2. Arms can be at waist, Maybe they're like this, or maybe they're out like this. Your gaze is out over that bent leg. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Your foundation is strong. Now we're just going to straighten that front leg and bring your hands to heart. Our feet, our foundation, our roots stay the same. Inhale to Warrior 2. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's do that a couple more times. This is nice. The legs stay engaged. You have some movement, some sway. Your feet and your foundation is solid. The next part is side angle, where we'll take our forearm and bring it down to our front leg, keeping this shoulder back. There's a tendency to want to do this. We're going to keep this shoulder back. And then this hand might be on the waist. Fingertips might be on the shoulder, or it might be reaching out over the ear, depending on your body. Your gaze can be forward, as mine is now, or you can be looking down at the floor, or you can be looking up. Kind of depends on your balance and your neck, so you do what's right for you. Then from here we'll come back up into Warrior 2, and hands to heart. Gives that knee a little bit of a break. Warrior 2, side angle, Warrior 2, hands at heart. Let's do that again. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Next we'll add one more component at the end, and that is reverse warrior. And for reverse warrior, you just simply slide your hand down the back leg. This hand might be here, or you can bring it up over your ear like this. Or it might be here, or it might be here. Depends what's happening with your shoulder. Okay. So let's come into Warrior 2. Inhale. Exhale to side angle. Inhale, Warrior 2. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, Warrior 2. Exhale, straighten the front leg, hands at heart. Now we'll do that on the other side. So just bring this foot around, and you can just switch positions with your feet. Sometimes you can do that just pivoting on the heel. Sometimes you need to move, do a little bit more movement. But you find the place where you feel stable. So check. I think this looks pretty good for me. Now bend that front knee. Maybe I can step back a little. Hips forward. Warrior 2. Inhale. And exhale, hands to heart. Front knee straight. Inhale. Inhale, looking out over that bent leg. Exhale. Now we'll bring in, after the next Warrior 2, we'll go into side angle. Inhale. Exhale to side angle. Inhale. And exhale. So we're swaying and moving, but remaining rooted. Let's try that again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. next we'll add in the reverse warrior. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Right, now go ahead and gently, carefully heel-toe those feet. This is really good for our feet to move this way to find our Tadasana. So again, our feet are about hip distance apart. Next, I invite you to stand your legs, take your legs wide. Do a wide-legged forward fold. If you want to, you might want a block or a chair in front of you, or you can simply have your hands on your legs. Okay? So for the wide-legged forward fold, we'll be hinging from the hips. So let's inhale and exhale, hinging from the hips. And you'll come down as far as is comfortable for you. Maybe you're here, halfway down. Maybe you have your hands on a chair, you come a little further. Maybe your hands are on your shins. Just doing a nice forward fold and holding this. It's not about how far you can bend. It's simply about finding the sensations of strength. Go ahead and bend your knees as you hand back to get back up. Of lengthening and extending and strengthening all at once. All right, let's come back to our Tadasana. Wide-legged forward fold is great in a chair too. Very, really relaxing. You can pretend like you're picking something up off the floor, but in fact you're practicing yoga. All right, let's go ahead. So it's autumn, so we're going to visit tree because trees are doing a lot of swaying and they have amazing roots. So I invite you to keep your toes of your non-supporting leg on the floor and explore swaying. If you want to explore swaying, just on one foot, you can do that too. Excuse me. So let's get our roots firmly planted first of all. So decide which leg is going to be your supporting leg and bend the knee of the opposite leg. So the supporting leg, and it's engaged, that it is rooted. The opposite leg open. Now, this is where I'm going to stay today because we are practicing knowing that when we are rooted, we can sway. So I might bring my branches out here and sway. Now, if you want to try this on one foot, your balance is really rocking, you go for it. You may bring your arms up. Ooh, I did a little swaying there that I didn't mean to, but it's okay. And I tell you what, even though I have these toes on the ground, as soon as I peel that heel up, believe me, it's balance posture. So we're just going to sway with the breeze as we remain rooted with our roots firmly planted. So, it's kind of a fun way to explore tree today. We've seen how windy it can get. Let's go ahead and relax our hands at our sides. Bring that foot down. You might want to shake out that other leg, that supporting leg. It's just did a lot of work. And now we'll root down into the opposite leg. So underneath the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the heel rooted down. Their leg opens to the side. Find your drishti, your focal point. And that's where your gaze stays as you sway. With my roots firmly and solidly planted, I can sway with the wind. When we have a solid foundation, it's a little easier to go with the flow. Go ahead and relax your arms at your sides. Bring this back forward, lower to the ground. Shake this one out. And it is now time for Shavasana. So I'll mind the time. You find a comfortable place. Maybe you're stretched out in a comfy chair. Maybe you're on your mat. Maybe you're on your couch. You find a comfy place where you can completely relax and close your eyes. I'll mind the time. And when you hear the chimes, then you'll know it's time for us to come back. Shavasana, rest pose, very important part of our practice. A time for our body to integrate all the things that we have done today. Just close your eyes. Let your body just sink into the surface below you. Relax. Or rest. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes. If you're on your back, maybe roll to one side. Extend that top leg and using both hands, press yourself up into a seated position. Gently open your eyes with a soft gaze. Inhale, hands to sky. Exhale to the earth. Breathe in. This time, bring your hands to sky, bring your palms together. And as you slowly lower them toward your heart, gently brush your fingertips and thumbs across your forehead, your nose, your lips, your chin, and bring your hands to your heart. With my roots firmly supporting me, I sway with the wind. May you be safe, well, and filled with peace. Namaste. Thank you for practicing today. Have a lovely week. Thanks to all of you.